Okay, can everyone see my screen now? Yeah? Okay. Mm, okay. So we pretty much understood what description is, right? Now, we move on to process, yeah? And what process is I think it's pretty straightforward. It's basically describing the steps that you do, yeah? Mm, so to explain and illustrate, hi Basim, I hope you're happy now that you're in the first group. Just a second, my son decided to join. Oh, one second, people. Властелин. One second. Okay. So um, to illustrate you, to illustrate the process, the concept of process. I'm going to use the following statement. Computers have some special features that make writing easier. Okay, and I'll present it in two paragraphs that illustrate the difference. Okay, so understanding the process. Guys, you can read this as well. Okay, I'm going to read it aloud and you read it as well. Um, the find and replace feature in word processing program is invaluable in keeping details in a document consistent. As you work, you'll come across details that seem inconsistent. A spelling difference here, a heading style there, a capital letter someplace else. And you'll want to make sure that item is treated the same throughout your document. For example, you might realize that sometimes you used email and sometimes e um, slash mail, and you prefer email without the slash. With the find and replace feature, you can search in seconds for the tiniest detail in the longest document and then replace any incorrect usage with what you prefer. With this feature, you can just type in what you're looking for and what you'd like to replace it with. You can make the substitution on a case-by-case basis or with a single click of replace all. This feature also offers several choices of what to look for and how to refine your search. With all of these options, the find and replace feature can help ensure accuracy and consistency throughout your document. So this paragraph is making you understand a process. Okay? This one is going to explain a process. It's the same thing, only it's written from a perspective of explanation. And it goes like this. The find and replace feature in word processing programs is invaluable in keeping details in a document consistent. As you work, you'll come across details that seem inconsistent, a spelling difference here, a heading style there, a capital letter someplace else, and you'll want to make sure that item is treated the same throughout your document with the find and replace feature. You can search in seconds for the tiniest detail in the longest document, and then replace any incorrect usage with what you prefer. For example, you might realize that sometimes you used email and sometimes email, and you prefer email without the thing. Follow this process to make them all consistent as email. Press Control H, and the Find and Replace dialog box will appear. In the Find What field, type in what you're looking for. In this case, email. In the Replace With field, type in what you'd like to replace it with. In this case, email. To make the substitution on a case-by-case basis, click on the next button, and when you're taken to each occurrence of email, click on the Replace button, etc., 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 etc. Now, who can tell me the difference? Hmm? We just saw two examples of a process. Who can tell me the difference between those two?
Uh, so basically, when I wrote the process, it was a personal, like a personally written process, you could say.
Uh-huh. You
Um,
were describing the first paragraph was um you were making people understand what the process is about,
yes.
right?
Hmm.
And then the second one, just one second. Joey, who are the students that didn't receive the link to join the class? You? I just,
Excuse me, doctor.
yes.
جوي خليهم يفوتوا على الكالندر جوجل كالندر هونيك فيهم يفوتوا
Mm-hmm.
عليها. مش ضروري حدا يبعت لهم اياها على الايميل، انا هيك عملت. Thank you, doctor.
Okay. Is it not in your calendar, the date for the, does it not give you a notification? So I have to send you every single week an invitation because I thought that the system does it by itself. It records because I have it set on automatic, and I thought that it was sending it to you automatically. How did everybody else join today's lecture? I don't want to do a WhatsApp group, Joey. Guys, I used last week's link. Okay, so if you don't receive an invitation email, last week's email or this week's email? Okay, interesting. Otherwise, Google Calendar. Maria Jose is saying that it's in her Google Calendar. What about the other people? Isn't it in your Google? What about your other lectures? How are they? Are they in your Google Calendar or not? Every single week you receive. Okay. Okay. Google Calendar. Okay, so I guess that there are people who use Google Calendar and some people who don't use the Google Calendar. Okay, fine. I will send an email every single week then, okay? Email, if Google Calendar shows you that you have a class, you click on that class and it gives you the link to the class. Anyway, fine. Fine. I will send you an email one day before each class. Okay. So okay. Okay. So we've established about this process, right? That there's two types that you can write. One is describe it, and the second one is actually step by step explain it. Okay. Now we move on to comparison and contrast. Yeah. We assign comparison and contrast essays for a variety of subjects, and you may be comparing buying a Mac or PC or where to go for a vacation. Yeah, it's many times you will have to write a comparison and contrast essays. But there is one thing that if you're asked or if you decide to write a compare contrast essay, please make sure that the things that you're writing about, the things that you're comparing, are actually comparable, okay? You can't compare bananas and Facebook, for example. However, you could compare Facebook and Instagram, or you can't compare a chair and a cup, yeah? That kind of thing. Often ideas become clearer when they're presented and analyzed based on how they relate to each other, right? And comparison and contrast allow a writer to explain the ways in which okay. Often comparison and contrast are used in the same essay. Yeah. As an example, a possible introduction and thesis statement might be, I've become so much more, again, going back to my green planet idea, I've become so much more aware of ecology since I first noticed the mounds of garbage outside the mall stores late one night. I checked Google and discovered how much the United States is actually doing to correct the nation's bad habits. The other day, however, I read an article about what Sweden is doing to be green. We could learn some valuable techniques by looking at what they're doing. Okay, so it's like comparing two countries and their approach to utilizing garbage. Be sure that after you've compared and contrasted, you've actually made a point, okay? It's not enough just to show the difference. You need to make a point. You need to make me, the reader, because I'm going to be the reader, and your classmates, they're going to be the readers. You need to let them know, let us all know why what you're saying and what you're comparing actually matters, okay? If you're comparing an iPhone and a Samsung phone, you actually need to make a point why it matters to compare them. Whether maybe it's the price, whether it's the work ethic of the factory, whether it's a camera on the phone, or the actual durability of the equipment. Yeah. So make sure you have a point. Make sure you make the point of why what you're saying matters. Yeah, very, very important. Now, moving on to cause and effect. Cause and effect speaks for itself, explains why, what happened, the reason why it happened. Yeah. And by choosing cause and effect, again, to illustrate it, I'm going to use an example that looks something like this. I threw the can in the trash. My mother had taught me to be neat and pick up after myself. But my friend Marcia yelled at me. What are you doing? Don't you know you need to recycle those cans? Why? Why do you want to mess up our planet? Frankly, I just hadn't thought about it. Since then, I've learned ways I can contribute to making our planet greener and healthier. Okay? Cause and effect here. Does anybody see where cause and effect is? Clear. Good. Next, you discuss what we're doing now to reverse the negative trend of trashing our planet and show what the projected results would be. This takes some research, but the aim is to show how much cleaner our environment will be if we act now. So if we recycle, what's going to happen? Be careful not to attribute an effect to the wrong cause. If a person is failing a course and is always late to class, it's easy to say he's always late, and that's why he's failing. Actually, he might be failing simply because he doesn't do the work, and he's often late because his ride is usually late. Okay? So be cautious and be mindful. Yeah? Not to attribute an effect to the wrong cause. Remember to stay focused on your main point throughout your essay and ask yourself why you're telling the readers these facts. Argument and persuasion. Guys, I'm kind of fast because I have like 44 slides to go through today, and we wasted a lot of time talking about the technicalities. So I'm going to rush through this. If you have any questions, please let me know. Argument and persuasion, that's also pretty clear, okay? And I'm going to jump right to the example here. So Rosie fixed a marvelous meal for us last night. Roasted chicken, fresh corn, and green beans. I commented on how tasty everything was. She said, that's because all the ingredients are organic. She went on to explain not only how organic food tastes better, but how going organic is better for our planet. She had some pretty convincing arguments about why buying organic can be so beneficial. Yeah. So argument, persuasion, good arguments rest on clear logical foundation, guys. But logic alone doesn't generally convince the reader. It helps us to include some emotional appeal, just as logic benefits from an emotional appeal. Yeah. You please make sure that you quote scientific journals, research articles, not BBC News, but actual people who worked on this. Yeah. Sources with an authority. Okay. So the first step in developing an argument essay is to find a topic that has two sides. Yeah. Preferably, yeah, something that interests you. Asserting a thesis statement and backing it up with reasons, evidence, and the emotional appeal are key pieces in an argument persuasion essay. Okay. So what you need to make sure that you acknowledge when you are writing an argument persuasion, that readers may object to your views. Okay. So try not to sound very harsh. Okay, because if you're vigorously defending your arguing your point of view, and you know that it's very controversial, there is a very big chance that people may not agree with you, and they will stop reading. Okay. You will lose them. For example, in the persuasion example, a thesis statement such as the following will not be very effective. Yeah. Obviously, everyone should actively recycle. I mean, it's not obvious to me why I should recycle. Explain it to me first, right? First of all, and if something is obvious, why are you arguing for it? Yeah. Also, the word everyone is kind of like generalizing. Yeah. So don't generalize, and don't oversimplify your points. Instead, use recycling can be worth the effort. Okay. It says pretty much the same thing, but only the words are different. Yeah. Or even if the readers don't agree with you, they would probably read on to see what you have to say. So when you're developing the body of an essay, you could start each paragraph with a counterclaim. For example, many people claim it takes too much time to recycle. Yeah. So even because you're arguing for recycling, you are starting with a counterclaim that many people claim it takes much time to recycle. And then you come in with the statement like it doesn't take that much time to recycle if you're well organized. Yeah. You see, like you start with a counterclaim and then you move it towards your argument, towards what you believe in. So, now to get back again to Vasim's point, although most essays have a clear method of development, they can definitely use elements from other methods. Yeah. So definitely persuasion, narration, description, arguing, everything can be a mix. Yeah, together. But the final thought to take home here is that use them wisely and know how to argue, know how to tell a story, and know how to describe. Yeah. So transitions, and this is where I'll be, this is again why I said about having access to your drive. I am going to be giving you additional information, okay, on words, on grammar, on sentence structure, on sentence building, on good words to use, yeah. So transitions are basically like it's treated like a glue that holds the whole essay together. Yeah, it's like it helps the reader clearly follow what you have to say. Yeah. So what it means is the connection of words and phrases. It's the repeated words, it's the pronouns, and it's the parallelism. And I will explain to you. Um, Guys, if you want, we can finish right now, and then it's just 10 slides, and we can do it. Or you can bear with me for another like 20 minutes, and we can finish the slides today. How do you, if you're not too tired? Are you able to keep focus and have the attention? Okay, good. So let's nicely I've tried to make the PowerPoint presentation as descriptive as possible, so you can go back to back to it and read if there's something that you feel you're not I'm jumping through, for example. Yeah. You use connective words, obviously, to show relationships. Yeah, like I like Facebook because it gives me a way to make friends around the world. As a result of my having a Facebook account, I was invited to visit a friend in France. So things that, as a result, it gives me a way. Things besides. On the other hand, this type of words are connective words, repeated words to keep the readers on track. It helps. Uh, uh, it can help to repeat keywords. Yeah. For example, if you're if going back to the recycling, yeah, you need to the recycling needs to be repeated many times. Yeah, but you need to do it intelligently. Pronouns and adjectives. I hope everybody knows what they are. They also help to stick ideas together. Yeah. Parallel. No. Okay. I'm getting tired of speaking, obviously. Parallelism. When you have pronouns and demonstrative adjectives, you need to be sure that the reference is clear, yeah, and that the replacement agrees in a number of gender and with the noun. For example, if you say Paul waited, but when Tommy was late, he got upset, it's not clear who is upset. It's clearer to say Paul waited, but he got upset when Tommy was late. Yeah? So because of Tommy being late, Paul was upset. You see the difference. Hopefully you can see the difference between first and second sentence. That's your parallelism. Now fallacies, and fallacies are very important, okay? A major danger basically in writing and also thinking happens when you fall prey and to what is called logical fallacies, and there are 8 of them, 8 common logical fallacies, and first, and one of them is hasty generalization. Basically, it's drawing a conclusion from too little evidence. And those of you who took critical thinking with me know a little bit about that. The teenagers, for example, just assuming something is a fact just because something that happened to you from what happened to you. So assuming that all young people are not hard workers because of the teenagers that you work with are not. Yeah, that's hasty generalization. Don't do it. Don't just assume something just because something happened to you. Yeah, stereotyping. Yeah. attaching supposed characteristic to a group. Surfers are all irresponsible, okay? Blonde girls are stupid, yeah? Uh, Old people are helpless. All of those things are stereotyping, so please stay away from those. Either or, assertions that only have two options. Either you buy a car or you can go to school across. It's always harmful, Wasim. Okay. I would love to get into a dialogue with you right now, but I am really running out of time. So I have to say all of this. Yeah. Again, Vasim, the key word here is that what is your topic? What are you arguing? And what kind of point are you trying to make? Okay? That's gonna help you realize if it's harmful or not. And it's just not recommended, let's say it like that. Fallacies are not recommended. Logical fallacies are not recommended. So it's like either or. That's very like strict. Either you do this or you do that. It's like there is no gray area. It's all very black and white. No, that don't go there. Avoid this. Beginning the question, arguing that a claim is true by repeating that claim in other words. For example, you should drive 65 miles per hour on the freeway because that is what the law says, and the law is the law. No, no, no. Avoid that, please. You're not explaining anything here. Ad hominem. So attacking the person rather than the position. For example, Diane's new business idea will never work because she never got a college degree. So it's like you're attacking a person. What you're really trying to say is that the idea is bad. Yeah. But what you're saying is that Diane's education is the problem, not the idea. Yeah. Avoid that too. Post hoc, ergo propter hoc. Very long term, but basically what it means is that claiming that one thing caused another thing when there may be no connection. Yeah. I fell asleep doing my homework, so homework makes people sleepy, basically. Yeah, I mean it's a nonsense. Yeah, faulty analogy, assuming that if one thing resembles another, conclusions made on one apply to the other. Yeah, uh, the plane model worked in the wind tunnel, so the plane will fly. That's not going to happen. That's a faulty analogy. Slippery slope, pretending that one thing inevitably leads to another. We can't reduce our military budget. The whole world will think we're a weak country. How is that possible? No, avoid this. It is important to avoid all of these fallacies, okay? It will weaken our effectiveness. It will weaken the point we're making, and it will weaken our idea. Yeah. So try to be very intelligent and try to avoid these fallacies, these logical fallacies. Yeah. Not only in writing, in thinking too. Uh, I'm not going to read on anymore. You can read the rest yourself in the PowerPoint. Right now, what I want to do, just really, really fast, is check how well you can identify the various methods of development. Yeah, I'm going to give you a couple of sentences in a second, and you will have to identify which type of essay each of these thesis statements set up. Yeah, whether this is a narration, description, process, comparison, contrast, cause and effect, or argument persuasion. Okay, so get organized right now. Turn on your microphones or get ready to type. Yeah. Okay, number one, it's difficult to decide which type of exercise program is best. Which is it?
Description.
Description. Okay, any other thoughts?
Thesis statement.
Yeah. What is it? Is it narrative? Is it description? Is it a process? Is it argument? Is
effect.
it cause and effect? What did we have? Comparison, contrast. What is it? The first one. Cause and effect, possibly. Yeah. Maybe it's cause and effect. Maybe it's argument. Maybe it's. What leads you to think that it's comparison? I would say I would go with comparison. I would definitely go with comparison. Because which type of exercise, you see, which type of exercise is your key word here, okay? So obviously you're given types and you can choose from them, yeah? Okay, number two, schools should do more to develop students' physical development.
Argument.
Persuasion, argument, definitely. I think so too. What about the third one? I will always remember the sights and sounds of my first baseball game. Description, definitely, Vasim. That's description. Exercising can change your life in more ways than one. Possibly persuasion, possibly. Cause and effect, maybe? Aha, cause and effect, Philip. Great. Okay. By learning these simple steps, you too can develop an effective exercise program. Number 5. Pretty easy. Process, yes. And the last one, I discovered that playing sports involves more than a skill. Number 6, I discovered that playing sports involves more than a skill. Possibly argument,
Cause and effect.
possibly cause and effect. The last one is very tricky, I would say. You could argue about the last one, yeah? But because it starts with an I discovered, it could be an
Description.
uh, because of I discovered. I discovered. It's about me. Yes, Marinal, it's narrative. It's a story. Because of I discovered, it is a story. It's about me. It's about my experience. Yeah? I am telling you about my experience, and most probably this is going to be a story. Okay, guys. So keep on researching. There is no homework for you for next week again, apart from I'm gonna next week. It's gonna be a more interactive class. I'm gonna be asking questions. Okay, so please make sure that you read the slides that are gonna be on your drive. Remember, just scan through them at least and continue researching your topic, okay? Because next class I want to make a little bit of a question answer session, okay? Be ready for that. And for now, I'm gonna stop because I have another class starting. And